so ready.
For the total team effort, the only thing we've been really talking about that's been on our mind has been the tournament. And if it's not on your mind, it is. And if it's not on your mind right now, turn this fucking video off.
Get a fucking pulse.
Yeah, no shit.
Hey, this is for you.
Yeah, and if it's one of your friends, show them that.
This is the other one. That's for your friends.
Take a still, give it to your friend. Okay. So we were going to talk about this last week, but we all wanted to leave last Thursday when we were recording, so we did. But this week we're going to talk about, I have some fonder memories of March Madness as a fan. And you may notice this is a new thing I'm doing this year. In solidarity with my Michigan State Spartans in the tournament, decided to not shave until they're knocked out. I guess I didn't realize how long this actually went. I'm not huge on growing this out, nor is my girlfriend. But needless to say, TJ, we're going to get to some stories about you and I, the pros of the show, bonding last Thursday.
We had a pretty legendary Thursday.
Whew, boy.
Into Friday.
Well into Friday.
Significantly into Friday.
Well into Friday. But a couple of memories I wanted to get out. They bring me back into high school. Now, high school is obviously that time. The tournament, what's so awesome about it is it's everybody knows it's all day. They're not fucking around.
No.
Those games start at noon. They're not done till 1. Okay? So, high school, you're in class. You're handcuffed, man. You can't do shit.
You gotta just be hopeful that your teacher's a basketball fan and will turn it on with the volume down or something.
I will never forget chemistry class. I was lucky enough to have a teacher who, I think she was at a stage in her career where she was either drinking a lot or just didn't.
What stage is that? Like the second year?
yeah, that's right before tenure. Or just didn't give a shit. But either way, me and another friend of mine who, I think she knew we weren't going to pay attention to shit. Like, we're learning, ionic bonds and this type of chemical equation. Yeah, fuck off, okay? We got Cleveland State about to tip off against Dickhole State. I don't care. I need to watch this, okay? So she was like, all right, you guys, and now chemistry lab, for everybody who's had a science class, a lot, ours were half classroom, the other half were big round table, lab tables essentially, and they all, for whatever reason, our school decided to piss away money on TV screens on every one of these lab tables.
Wow.
No idea why.
That is pissing money away.
It really is. There's a reason that my high school...
There's a reason you don't have the world's giant ice maker.
Yeah, we're too busy spending money on TV.
We didn't have that garbage.
Well, there's a reason my school district is now begging for any type of money because they made miserable decisions for a lot of years. But anyway, me and a kid, we went over and she accepted it early on. She's like, yeah, you guys can go sit over there. I didn't hear a word she said. I'm actually almost positive it was early enough in the semester or period that it was like we were learning to memorize or know the periodic table. Like, this is essential chemistry shit we shouldn't be missing. And she was like...
Gotta know what bismuth is.
Yeah, yeah. How will I ever move on without knowing whatever lithonomium is? Or
Gold,
whatever?
not Geo.
No, it's not. AU. There's another one like that too, but I've been out of college for too long, I have no idea.
Yeah,
but
it's silver.
AG.
AG, yeah, you got it. So needless to say, we're sitting over there, and she's already given up on us. So we turn the TV on. Now, we didn't have the TV on loud at all, but it didn't matter.
Because Gus Johnson is loud.
Gus, it's the law of Gus. He instills it into you, okay? And so anytime there's even a close play, we're yelling. There was a buzzer beater. Literally the middle of class. The first game, it was like a buzzer beater. We're standing up. We're cheering. We're jumping. We're doing the whole bit. Nothing. It's like she didn't give a shit. I have no idea how we got away with it. One of the better high school memories I will ever have. Absolutely magnificent. That's what the tournament is. You got to be able to let loose. That's why you don't go to work that Thursday or Friday. You go drink. And you have...
And drink we did.
And drink we did. Now, do you have anything? Because I have one more small story before we get into...
No, I have nothing.
Now...
I led a pathetic March Madness existence before
actually,
last Thursday.
That spiked one for me.
All right, Nader Tot, you said you were going to be invisible this time. You're bringing the heat.
I'm bringing the heat. This was back when they first started streaming the games, and they were kind of just testing it, and it was not free, but you had to send an email into the NCAA a couple months beforehand, and they sent you a password and a username just to kind of test it out. This was clearly their test out phase. So I would always do that because, like Kyle said, you'd be in school. High schoolers don't carry around laptops. Mm-hmm. So I would purposely figure out a reason to go to the computer lab and then sit in the very back corner of the computer lab and turn on the computer to streaming and watch these games. And I had a moment like Kyle because I happened to be so lucky to always have computer classes during tournament time. And one of my computer classes, just like Kyle, the computer teacher was lecturing on how to, do stuff in computer programs, and all of a sudden, with my earphones in, I stand up, I rip my earphones off, and I'm like, ah!
Oh, no.
And he looks over at me, and he goes, yes, Edwards? I go, nothing, just,
I'm really pumped about your dickhead.
Microsoft Excel is really, Excel!
Maryland just beat Duke.
I'm going to spreadsheet the fuck out of this computer. Thank you.
That sum function just made my life that much easier. Equal sum bracket. Yes. Thankfully, like Kyle, unlike Kyle's teacher, this was a guy teacher, and he was one of the coaches on the athletic team.
Oh, he knew.
So, we've had each other before, and so he's like, he held me back.
Keep it down.
He held me back after class. He's like, that wasn't cool. If you're gonna watch the games, at least try to keep it under wraps. So,
yeah, when I was in college,
that still happens. Tournament doesn't stop for your stupid college course load. And I had a class in, I was a journalism and broadcasting major, so a lot of our shit was in computer labs and typing. Even his lectures were in the computer lab. So it was me and like 3 friends, and this was when they started streaming all this shit. We'd each have a game on the stream watching, and now CBS Sports is fantastic because their website for the first few years, just as a joke, but it actually worked.
The boss button.
They had the boss button.
Ooh,
and you click it, and it was a spreadsheet or like an email you were typing to somebody or something. Fucking perfect. Nobody ever knew it. Nobody knew. You're like, hey, yep, I'm listening. Wow, how'd this spreadsheet get open about? It's just literally like 30 rows of A. But it doesn't matter because nobody looks that close. You're like, oh, yeah, taking notes. Oh, sure thing. Yeah, F off watching the game again, So that was how I handled it during college. Now, there's something, and now this ties into what, stay with us here because this ties into what happened with TJ and I on Thursday because about 4 years ago, a buddy of mine, is that my chair? It feels like it's about to break. About 4 years ago, we decided that tournament day opener is something special.
It's sacred.
It needs to be treated more revered than Easter.
It's a holy day.
Whatever. Almost like Christmas. I mean, it's right up there. And if it had a feast like Thanksgiving, it would be top 2.
Well, it does.
It did. For TJ, it did. We'll get into that. But so we decided to each go to the bar together, not separate, and just watch some basketball. This was never planned out how long. Well, the second year it turned into we got there for the first game, and we closed the bar down. Now, for some quick math, that's 14 hours of drinking. And so it only grew. Then last year, the party was big. It got to be pretty large. Well, this year I expanded the invite. I made a Facebook event, invited random people. It's mostly a people pass through type of thing, Nate. Not everybody can sit for 12-something hours,
Not
TJ.
everybody has the dedication.
No. And I guess there is a special breed in the regard that it didn't even bother me.
Oh,
no. It felt like a flash in hindsight, but all these memories come flooding back to me about, oh yeah, this happened. Then you realize, yeah, that was a 14-hour block of your life at a bar stool watching basketball, and I don't have a single fucking regret about it. But needless to say, so this year, TJ writes on the Facebook event, he's in. Yes, we got a trooper. Now, I worked for a little bit Thursday. I bounced way early. Doctor's appointment. I'm serious.
Typical.
I used it, man. I got a doctor's appointment at 1 something. I didn't.
I had classes Wednesday and Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Thursday, obviously, I skipped those classes. I skipped my Wednesday classes too because why not? You
Yeah.
know,
Getting ready.
what's the point?
Got prime the pump.
I gotta get to bed at 10 so I can be to the bar at 12.
So I text TJ. I was there at around 1:30. TJ showed up shortly after me, and it commenced. Now, TJ mentioned when he walked in, we weren't drunk. We'd had a few, but TJ walked in, and I don't know what was said, but there was someone who walked. There was a little kid that walked by.
Nothing was said.
It was about a 10-year-old.
He gave you eyes.
Little fucker eyeballed me. I'm not shitting you, Nate. You laugh. All right, this kid walked by.
He did. Here, this is exactly how it happened. It
I'm
was
just
like
sitting
this.
here. I'm
this.
drinking my beer. I go, whoa! And I turn around, and something along the lines of, keep the fuck moving or we're going to have a problem. Something like this was said to this kid.
Yes, there's an F word was said.
It was
That is for
definitely
sure.
said. Don't even regret it. That's the glory of this day. It's like no regrets. It doesn't matter what you do. It's all forgiven. Now, one of the best parts of going to the all-day drinkathon college basketball tournament day one is you get to meet the waitresses. It's like friend building. You
It's
really
networking.
do.
It's networking.
It is. It's social networking on an actual social level. I didn't have to go to Twitter to get this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But, so we sit down. TJ starts joining in the fun. Pretty soon he's comfortable with all the people that are there. And TJ, from 3 to 6 at this certain bar, it's the middle of the week.
Happy
Bars
hour.
have happy hours and they have half-off appetizers. Well, TJ jumped on one. It's like, oh, TJ, that's good, man. Good. You're filled up, some food. You can drink more.
Yeah. Got myself a pizza.
Yeah, it was 9-inch personal, $3.
Excellent. Divine. About an hour and a half later.
TJ,
Hungry again.
TJ goes for round 2.
Hey, need some chips and cheese with jalapenos.
And this is no dicking around chips and cheese for an appetizer portion. I mean, this thing's a plate.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got
It is
jalapenos, and it's like he picked every jalapeno, put one on like each chip. Like it was a work of art. It was better than that loser dead guy's painting of NASCAR. This thing was a work of art, okay? And so we keep drinking.
Now, happy hour ends at 6, so
Yeah.
you got to get in your last food order before then. Get
So we
another
did.
pizza. That takes me right through till the next happy
10
hour.
o'clock comes
at 10.
around.
Hungry again. Need another pizza.
He orders a second pizza.
Third.
Third pizza, fourth meal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fourth entree overall that he has delivered to him. Now, fast forward just a little bit. Later the night, we all get our tabs. Now, I expect this. I physically set money aside. I'm like, it's going to be a big day. It's going to be expensive. I know that. I'm not going to be upset by anything on my bill. Hell, by the time that time rolls around, you don't even know what you're looking at. It's a final number. You give a card, you sign, you leave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, TJ goes, holy shit! Like, what is this? How much did I have? And I look at it, it's about what I expected for you. And I was like, dude, you ate 4 times. Like, I know it's only $3, but for $3 or $4, that's still $12, $14 worth of food on top of 12 hours worth of booze for us.
It added up, but I think that those waitresses charged me extra, and you know who you are.
You're watching this, and you know who you are.
Well, how many times did you eat, Kyle?
I had 2.
Too. But he was there before me, too.
Yeah.
So,
And so my tab was less than TJ, but all things, I was taking it a little easier.
Well, actually,
This will be a good transition to mine. I unfortunately had to go to work because my boss said no.
Oh, they couldn't have showed up for a little bit.
yeah, Kyle went to work, too.
I did too.
I couldn't cut out, unfortunately. But afterwards, my boss quickly told me that, hey, let's go drink. I go, okay. I get texts throughout the day saying, Kyle just dropped an F-bomb on a little kid. I
Oh,
go,
yeah.
What? And he goes, yeah, man, Kyle just totally tough-talked this little 12-year-old.
Bastard deserved it.
I go, how the fuck much has Kyle been drinking? He goes, he's been drinking since he's got here, and I've not seen him grab a glass of water. I
No.
go, oh, God.
No,
Oh, God.
not that experienced.
And then...
Not experienced.
And then, because my boss and I were playing catch-up compared to you guys, so we started hitting it pretty hard. And by the time there was a phone call made between us, we were about on the same level. because my boss says, give me the fucking phone. I want to call fucking TJ. And then TJ just informed me today he doesn't remember what that phone call consisted of.
Nope.
And neither does my boss, because he asked me the next morning, did I make a phone call sometime last night? I go, yeah, you called TJ. He goes, what did I say? I go, well, about every other word was fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And I was trying to figure out who it was because it was Nader Todd's caller ID, but I recognized the voice was not Nader Todd, and I was like, gosh, who is that? Who could it possibly be with? Well, let's see. He's down at work. You know who it is? It's Brian. And so I started shit-talking him back, dropping F-bombs on him, too. And that's basically all it was for about a minute and a half.
And then this is what my boss does to end the conversation. He's just done talking, hangs up, and just hands me the phone. I go, did you say goodbye? He goes, no, he's just running his mouth, so I hung up. And I go, okay.
I don't know how long I talked on the phone after he hung up, but you know, whatever. It was just expletives. It's not like that was a family restaurant or anything.
Yeah, I didn't know until the day after, Nate, that TJ earlier on in the afternoon was showing, because you were texting him about your picks, like, oh yeah, Oregon. That's when I got really pissed. You said I had Oregon. I read that text. TJ and I both looked at each other, got really, really mad.
And I knew as soon as you texted me that's what you guys were talking about. You guys thought that I flip-flopped,
Yep.
and I went with Oregon after you guys talked about them up so much. I had Oregon for
Well, needless to say, I grabbed my phone and I said something like F off or something like that. And I didn't even realize that until the next day.
Oh, really?
I look at my phone and I go,
really?
when did I text Nate and why?
Do you see, this is the thing. I knew TJ was texting me because I could still tell he was coherent, at least starting off. You were texting me, I thought you were too, and I thought you were just tough-talking me because I was doing so well in the brackets.
No, I didn't even look at the
You
thing.
and TJ were doing so poorly.
Didn't even look.
Until now it starts coming clear that, you know, you
No.
tough-talk 12-year-old at
Yeah.
10 a.m.
Fucker deserved it.
Yeah,
Not backing down.
not backing down.
I do want to wrap this up by just saying that we mentioned the networking aspect, TJ. Now, I don't want to, I mentioned in the podcast, I don't like to toot my own horn. Okay, we're not here to do that. But I would safely say that by the middle of the night, our table is me, you, a couple other kids. We were by far the rock stars of that bar.
Oh, dude, everyone loved us.
Listen.
we had 4 waitresses.
We're not kidding you,
We
Nate.
each had personal waitresses.
We did. They came over, and we don't mean for food.
Oh.
Actually, some
It
kind
was.
of food. Penis food.
Danielle, that's not true.
Not true.
Chelsea, Nate wasn't there, and Lord knows he wouldn't pull that anyway. And to my lovely girlfriend Katie, if you're watching this, that is partially true. Only with the waitresses part. But needless to say, we were the this is how late we stayed. We put the chairs on our own table.
That is classy.
Yeah,
That's a classy
we
move.
put the chairs on our own table, and
You know-
we walked out.
You know
with the
how big of
waitress.
rock stars we were? The waitresses weren't even mad that we were there an hour after the bar closed.
No, they sat down. We had drinks with
Oh,
the waitresses.
that just made me so upset that I didn't come up.
Yeah.
That statement right there.
Yeah, we had drinks with about 4 of the wait, and we're not going to get into what else happened during the last
No.
few hours. Nothing nefarious at all. I want that to be known. But yeah, we pretty much owned the bar. We shut her down. I showed up 2 days later, and I don't know if it actually happened this way, but in my mind, I opened the doors, some birds flew out, and everybody broke into applause. I think that's the way it all happened a couple days later. But
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Actually, I was in the area, and I thought that I heard a rumble down
Yeah.
the street.
yeah, it was just a big applause. Bars all around the area recognize, they respect. You show respect when a 12, 14-hour vet shows up less than a month later, because that's some fucking dedication.
Normally, people who sit at a bar for 12, 14 hours are too embarrassed to show their face the
Yeah.
next day.
No,
Not him.
on the horse, hair of the dog. Okay. Now, normally when you think about that, though, don't you think of like waitresses when they look at guys who have been at their place for like 12 or 14 hours?
Oh, yeah. They're
Aren't they like one either pissed or two like, oh my god, who are these creepy weirdos?
Yeah, they are. It's all about table turnover.
It is.
We were occupying 3 or 4 of
We
them.
moved it along. That's how you do it. That's how you handle day one of the NCAA tournament.
So next
year,
Next year, that's what you do.
next year, you want to tag along? You let us know, but you got to be a spectator first.
But-
You don't talk unless spoken to. It's kind of like a hierarchy.
And you're buying the first 3 hours of beers.
Yes, That's a good number.
Yeah, 3 hours is good.
That's a very good number. So that's it. That's how you spend the tournament, rookies.